The holographic display flickered to life in the command center, casting blue light across Admiral Do-Hyun Park's weathered face. He stood with his arms crossed, watching the alien face materialize before him. The creature had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, skin that shimmered like oil on water, and a mouth that seemed too wide for its narrow head. "Admiral Park of Earth," the alien said, its voice translated into flat, emotionless English by the communication system. "I am Speaker Vorn of the Galactic Council. We have reviewed your species' technological development. The Council has reached a decision regarding humanity's future." Do-Hyun remained silent. He had expected this call ever since Earth's first contact with the galactic community 3 months ago. Behind him, Dr. Mina Choi adjusted her glasses and pulled up additional screens, ready to record every word. "Your species has developed faster than light travel," Speaker Vorn continued. "This is unusual for such a young civilization. The Council believes you acquired this technology through accident rather than merit. As such, you are classified as a juvenile species requiring guidance." "Guidance," Do-Hyun repeated, his voice flat. "Yes. You will surrender all FTL technology to the Galactic Council within 30 standard days. Earth will accept a peacekeeping force to ensure compliance. Your military vessels will be decommissioned. Your scientists will work under Council supervision. These terms are not negotiable." Mina made a small noise of disgust. Do-Hyun raised a hand to silence her. "And if we refuse?" Do-Hyun asked. Speaker Vorn's wide mouth curved into something that might have been a smile. "Then the Council will take corrective action. Your orbital installations will be destroyed. Your shipyards will be neutralized. Your major cities will face kinetic bombardment until your government surrenders. We have done this before, Admiral. 17 species have required correction in the past 2 centuries. All eventually complied." The transmission ended. The hologram vanished, leaving the command center in darkness except for the glow of computer screens. Do-Hyun stood perfectly still for a long moment. "They're going to attack us," Mina said quietly. "Whether we surrender or not. They can't have another species with independent FTL technology. It threatens their control." "I know," Do-Hyun replied. He turned to face her. "How long until the Blackstar is ready?" 72 hours for full operational status." "But Do-Hyun, even if it works perfectly, it's one ship against an empire that controls half the galaxy. One ship is enough to make a statement." Do-Hyun walked to the window overlooking Earth. The planet turned slowly below, blue and green and beautiful. He had fought in the resource wars 20 years ago, when nations battled over water and minerals. He had seen cities burn. He had watched millions die over scraps. Humanity had barely survived its own adolescence. Now they faced something worse, an empire that viewed them as children, as property. His communicator buzzed. "Admiral Ambassador Hana Yoon is requesting emergency access. Send her in." The door hissed open. Ambassador Hana Yoon entered, her expression grim. She carried a data tablet and looked like she hadn't slept in days. At 51, she had spent the last 3 months trying to negotiate with the Galactic Council, trying to make them see humanity as equals. "They rejected everything," she said without preamble. "Every proposal, every compromise. They're not interested in dialogue. They want submission." "I just spoke with Speaker Vorn," Do-Hyun said. 30 days. Hana closed her eyes. "The Security Council is meeting in 2 hours. Most members want to surrender. They think we can preserve something if we comply peacefully." "They're wrong," Mina said. She pulled up a file on her tablet. "I've been analyzing the Council's historical records, the ones we managed to access before they locked us out. Every species that surrendered lost everything. Their technology was seized. Their best scientists disappeared into Council research facilities. Their governments were replaced with puppet regimes. Within a generation, they became slave states in everything but name." Hana slumped into a chair. "Then what do? We can't fight the entire galaxy." "We don't fight the entire galaxy," Do-Hyun said. "We fight the Council. We make them understand that conquering humanity will cost more than it's worth." "With what? We have 100 ships, maybe. They have thousands. We have something better." Do-Hyun activated his communicator. "This is Admiral Park. Authorization code Phoenix 77. Initiate protocol Blackstar. All senior staff report to Luna shipyards immediately." Mina nodded approvingly. Hana looked confused. "What's protocol Blackstar?" the ambassador asked. "Something we've been building since first contact. Do-Yun said, just in case diplomacy failed. 6 hours later, they stood in a shuttle approaching the far side of Earth's moon. Hana pressed her face against the window, watching as they descended into a massive crater. The crater floor had been converted into a shipyard, but everything was hidden under active camouflage nets and sensor-dampening fields. "This has been here for 3 months?" Hana asked. "How did you hide it?" "Carefully," Mina replied. "Every resource was diverted through civilian channels. Every worker signed confidentiality agreements. We told the council we were building mining facilities." The shuttle landed on a platform. They walked through a pressurized tunnel into the main construction bay. And there it was, the USS Blackstar. The ship was enormous, larger than anything humanity had built before, but it didn't look like other spacecraft. Most human vessels were functional, utilitarian, covered in antenna arrays and sensor packages. The Blackstar was different. Its hull was smooth, almost organic, made from some dark material that seemed to absorb light. It had no visible engines, no obvious weapons ports, no external structures at all. "It's beautiful," Hana whispered. A man approached them wearing a captain's uniform. He was in his mid-40s with sharp eyes and a confident stride. Captain Jiho Kim extended his hand. "Admiral, Doctor, Ambassador, welcome to my ship." "Your ship isn't finished," Do-Hyun observed. 72 hours, Jiho confirmed. "The main systems are operational. We're installing the final weapons arrays and running the last simulations. But she'll fly when you need her to fly." A woman in an engineering uniform jogged up to them. Chief Engineer Sumi Lee was younger, barely 40, but she had designed half the Blackstar systems personally. "We just completed the power-up sequence," Sumi said, slightly out of breath. 0-point reactor is stable. Quantum drive shows green across all parameters. She's drawing power perfectly." 0-point reactor?" Hana asked. Mina smiled. "We don't use fusion like the Galactic ships. We're pulling energy directly from the quantum vacuum. It's more efficient, more powerful, and completely undetectable by their sensors." "Show her the weapons," Do-Hyun said. They walked deeper into the ship. The interior was surprisingly spacious, with wide corridors and high ceilings. They entered the weapons control center, where holographic displays showed the Blackstar's armament. "Railguns," Sumi explained, pointing to the displays. "Magnetic acceleration pushing projectiles to relativistic speeds. Galactic shields are designed to stop energy weapons. They're not ready for solid matter moving at a significant fraction of light speed. Plasma lances for medium range," Jiho added. "And the main weapon, the singularity cannon. It creates controlled micro-black holes. We can fire it, let it consume a target, then safely dissipate the singularity before it becomes dangerous." Hana stared at the displays. "You built a weapon that uses black holes." "We built a lot of things the Council hasn't seen before," Mina said. "That's humanity's advantage. We think differently. We solve problems our own way." They continued the tour. Colonel Taeyang Shin demonstrated the Void Marine armor, powered exoskeletons that turned soldiers into one-person assault units. Lieutenant Heejin Baek showed them the boarding equipment, tools designed to cut through alien hulls and allow rapid insertion. Finally, they returned to the bridge. Do-Hyun looked around at the command center, at the crew stations, at the massive view screen that would show them the stars. 30 days, he said quietly. "Will she be ready?" "Yes," Jiho said without hesitation. "Then we're not surrendering. We're going to the Council. We're going to show them what humanity can do." Do-Hyun turned to Hana. "Ambassador, contact the Security Council. Tell them we have a plan. Tell them we have hope." Hana nodded slowly. "And if they still want to surrender?" "Then they're cowards," Do-Hyun said flatly. "And history will remember them that way. But I don't think they will. Humans don't kneel easily. We never have." Outside the viewport, Earth turned slowly in the distance. Somewhere up there, the Council was counting down the days until humanity's submission. They had no idea what was coming. The Blackstar would teach them. The Security Council members arrived at Luna shipyards in groups, shuttled from Earth under maximum security. They came from every nation, every bloc, every alliance that had formed during humanity's turbulent history. Many of them had fought wars against each other. Now they stood together in the observation deck, staring at the Blackstar through the reinforced windows. "This is impossible," said the representative from the European Federation. "We don't have the resources to build something like this. Where did the materials come from?" Asteroid mining, Mina explained. She stood at a podium addressing the assembled leaders. For the past 5 years, we've been extracting rare elements from near-Earth asteroids. Officially, this was for commercial purposes. Unofficially, we were preparing for this moment. You've been planning for war since before first contact? Another representative asked. Admiral Do-hyun stepped forward. We've been planning for survival. When we detected the first alien signals, we hoped for peaceful contact. But we also prepared for the alternative. Human history taught us that first contact rarely goes well for the less advanced civilization. And now you want us to go to war with an empire that spans half the galaxy, the African Union representative said. Based on one ship. Not one ship, Captain Jiho said, entering the observation deck. One demonstration. The Council believes we're primitives. We're going to prove them wrong. Then we negotiate from a position of strength. The Asian Coalition representative leaned forward. Captain Kim, I've read your service record. You're a brilliant tactician, but tactics don't matter when you're outnumbered 1,000 to 1. They matter when you change the rules of engagement, Jiho replied. He gestured to Mina, who activated a holographic display showing the Blackstar's specifications. Galactic ships use hyperspace lanes, Mina explained. Predetermined routes through folded space. It's efficient but predictable. They can only travel between established jump points. Our quantum drive works differently. We can appear anywhere instantly without using their lanes. The display showed a simulation. Galactic ships moved along glowing lines between star systems. The Blackstar simply vanished and reappeared wherever it wanted. This means we can strike targets they think are protected. Do-hyun continued. We can retreat before they respond. We can resupply from locations they can't predict. In military terms, we have complete strategic mobility. What about weapons? Someone asked. Chief Engineer Sumi Lee stood up. I'll handle that question. Galactic warships use plasma cannons and particle beams, very effective against shields designed to stop energy weapons. But humans learned warfare on Earth. We used kinetic weapons for centuries before we reached space. The hologram changed, showing a railgun firing. The projectile accelerated to incredible speeds, then slammed into a simulated alien ship. The ship's shields flickered and failed. The projectile punched through the hull like paper. Galactic shields can't handle solid matter at relativistic speeds, Sumi explained. Their defensive doctrine never accounted for it. Each of our railgun rounds hits with the force of a tactical nuclear weapon, but they're invisible to energy sensors until it's too late. Show them the singularity cannon, Jiho said. Sumi hesitated. Are you sure? That's our most classified system. They need to understand what we're capable of. The hologram shifted again. A representation of the Blackstar fired a strange pulsing weapon. Where the blast hit, space itself seemed to twist. A small black sphere formed, expanding rapidly. It consumed 3 simulated enemy ships before collapsing in on itself and vanishing. The observation deck fell silent. You built a weapon that creates black holes, someone finally said. Micro-black holes, Mina corrected. They last for only a few seconds before evaporating through Hawking radiation. Completely controlled, completely safe, but absolutely devastating to anything in their path. Ambassador Hana stood up. I've spent 3 months negotiating with the Council. I can tell you that they view us as insects. Annoying, possibly clever insects, but insects nonetheless. They will not respect diplomatic overtures. They will only respect strength. So you're proposing we demonstrate this ship, the South American representative said. And then what? They have thousands of ships. Eventually they'll overwhelm you through sheer numbers. Not if other species join us, Hana replied. The Council controls 47 species. 32 of them are subjugated, conquered peoples forced into service. If we prove that the Council can be resisted, those species might rebel. The Empire will fracture from within. That's a huge assumption, another representative said. It's the only chance we have, Do-hyun replied firmly. Surrender means extinction. Fighting means we might survive. Maybe we lose. But we lose on our feet, not on our knees. The debate continued for hours. Representatives argued about resources, casualties, moral implications. Some wanted to surrender and hope for mercy. Others wanted to fight but thought the plan was too risky. A few wanted to abandon Earth entirely, scatter humanity across space and hope some survived. Finally, the vote came. 53 nations voted. 27 voted to fight. 24 voted to surrender. 2 abstained. The fight vote wins, the session chairman announced. May God help us all. Do-hyun allowed himself a small smile. It wasn't unanimous, but it was enough. Earth would resist. Over the next 72 hours, Luna shipyards became a hive of activity. Engineers swarmed over the Blackstar, installing final systems and running endless tests. Weapons crews trained on simulators, learning to fire weapons that had never been used in real combat. Marines practiced boarding maneuvers in zero gravity. Captain Jiho barely slept. He walked the ship constantly, checking every department, talking to every crew member. His executive officer complained that he was micromanaging, but Jiho didn't care. This ship, this crew, they were humanity's best chance. He needed to know them perfectly. In the engineering section, Sumi directed her teams with calm efficiency. The zero-point reactor hummed steadily, drawing energy from the quantum foam of space itself. The quantum drive responded perfectly to test commands, folding space in ways that should have been impossible. Every system showed green. "We're ready," Sumi reported to Jiho during his midnight inspection. "She'll perform exactly as designed." "And if the Council has weapons we haven't anticipated?" Jiho asked. "Then we adapt. That's what humans do best." In the Marine deck, Colonel Taeyang Shin ran his soldiers through one final drill. The Void Marines moved like clockwork, their powered armor responding to neural commands almost instantly. Each soldier carried weapons designed to breach alien hulls and fight in environments humans couldn't normally survive. Lieutenant Heejin Bayek approached after the drill. "The crew is nervous, sir. They know the odds." "Good," Taeyang replied. "Fear keeps you sharp. Overconfidence gets you killed. Make sure everyone understands the mission. We're not trying to conquer the Council. We're trying to make them respect us, and if they don't, then we teach them the hard way." On the bridge, Mina ran simulations with the tactical crew. She had calculated hundreds of scenarios, predicting how the Council might respond to the Blackstar's appearance. Most scenarios ended badly for humanity, but a few showed paths to victory. "The key is surprise," she explained to the navigation officer. "They've never seen anything like our quantum drive. We use that advantage to control the engagement. Hit hard, move constantly, never let them pin us down." Do-hyun watched from the captain's chair, which currently sat empty. This was Jiho's ship. Do-hyun would observe, advise, but the captain would give the orders when battle came. 24 hours until we leave," Do-hyun said. "Are you ready, Doctor?" "No," Mina admitted. "But I don't think anyone could be ready for this. We're about to start a war with beings who consider us primitive. Either we prove them wrong or we prove them right by dying. We won't die. You can't promise that." "No," Do-hyun agreed. "But I can promise we'll make them remember us. One way or another, the galaxy will know that humanity existed." The final day passed quickly. Crew members said goodbye to families via video link. Some wrote letters to be delivered if they didn't return. Others prayed to various gods, asking for protection or courage or simply a good death. Captain Jiho stood in his quarters looking at a picture of Earth. He had grown up in Seoul in the Reconstruction period after the Resource Wars. He remembered hunger, poverty, chaos. He also remembered humans pulling together, rebuilding, refusing to surrender to despair. That's what we are, he thought. We're the species that doesn't quit. A knock on his door. "Captain, Admiral Park requests your presence on the bridge." Jiho took one last look at Earth, then turned away. It was time. The bridge was fully staffed when he arrived. Every console glowed with ready status. The main view screen showed the moon's surface and the stars beyond. Somewhere out there, the Council waited, counting down the hours until humanity's deadline. "All stations report ready," the executive officer said. "Crew is at battle stations. All systems nominal." Do-hyun stood near the captain's chair. "She's yours, Captain." Jiho sat down. The chair fit perfectly, like it had been made for him. He felt the weight of command settle on his shoulders. 600 crew members, humanity's hope, all depending on his decisions. "Communications, send a message to Earth," Jiho said. "Tell them the Blackstar is ready. Tell them we're going to meet the Council." "Message sent, sir." "Helm, prepare for quantum jump. Destination Council space." "Course laid in, Captain." Jiho took a deep breath. This was it. The moment humanity either proved itself or fell into subjugation. No middle ground existed anymore. "Engage quantum drive," he commanded. The Blackstar vanished from Luna shipyards in complete silence. One moment it was there, solid and massive. The next moment empty space remained. The ship reappeared halfway across the galaxy, deep in Council space, ready for war. The Blackstar materialized in Council space without warning. One moment, the defensive sensor grid showed empty space. The next moment, a massive human vessel sat in the middle of the Imperial fleet's protective formation, surrounded by 50 of the Council's most powerful warships. Alarm sirens wailed across every Imperial vessel. Weapon systems activated automatically. Shields snapped to full power. Captains scrambled to their bridges, demanding explanations for how an unknown ship had bypassed every security checkpoint, every hyperspace monitor, every early warning system. On the Blackstar's bridge, Captain Jiho watched the chaos with satisfaction. Tactical status of the Imperial fleet? All ships powering weapons, sir. They're confused. Their formation doctrine doesn't account for targets appearing inside the perimeter. Good. Keep our shields at minimal power. I want them to think we're vulnerable. Communications, open a channel to the Council chambers. The view screen flickered. An alien appeared, one of the Council's military commanders. His species had scales that changed color based on emotion. And right now they flashed angry red. Human vessel. You have violated Council space. Power down immediately or you will be destroyed. This is Captain Jiho Kim of the USS Blackstar. Jiho replied calmly. We received a summons from the Galactic Council. We're here to respond to that summons. Please direct us to docking facilities. You were instructed to come via the proper hyperspace lanes. You were to be escorted by Council ships. Instead, you appear inside our defensive perimeter like a spy or an assassin. We came the fastest way we know. If your security systems couldn't detect us, perhaps you need better security systems. The alien's scales flashed brighter red. You will surrender your vessel for inspection. Then you will be escorted to the Council chambers as prisoners. I don't think so, Jiho said pleasantly. We're here to discuss terms of mutual cooperation, not to surrender. Either grant us diplomatic access or we'll leave the same way we arrived. The channel cut off abruptly. On the tactical display, Imperial ships began moving into attack positions, trying to form a proper engagement formation around the Blackstar. They're trying to box us in, the tactical officer reported, forming a sphere formation. In approximately 2 minutes, we'll have nowhere to jump without hitting their ships. Let them finish their formation, Jiho said. I want them to feel confident. Admiral Do-hyun, standing near the captain's chair, smiled slightly. He had taught Jiho years ago at the Naval Academy. The captain had learned his lessons well. Never show fear. Never show all your capabilities at once. Always keep the enemy guessing. A new channel opened. This time Speaker Vorn appeared, the same alien who had delivered the original ultimatum to Earth. Behind him, the Council chambers were visible, filled with representatives from dozens of species. Captain Kim, Speaker Vorn said, the Council is surprised by your arrival. We expected your government to send ambassadors on a properly escorted vessel. We did not expect a warship. The Blackstar is a diplomatic vessel, Jiho replied. It just happens to have excellent defensive capabilities. Given the Council's threat to destroy Earth, we thought it wise to arrive prepared. Emperor Valthorix himself appeared on the screen, pushing Speaker Vorn aside. The Emperor was massive, nearly 3 meters tall, with thick armor-like skin and multiple arms. His species had conquered half the galaxy through military might. Prepared? The Emperor laughed, a deep booming sound. Human, you are surrounded by 50 capital ships. Each one carries more firepower than your entire species has ever produced. You call this prepared? I call it sufficient, Jiho said. Now shall we discuss terms? Or would you prefer to continue making threats? The Emperor's expression darkened. You will surrender your technology. You will accept Council oversight. These terms have not changed. Then allow me to present humanity's counter-proposal. Jiho nodded to Ambassador Hana, who stood at a secondary station. Hana activated a holographic transmission, projecting into the Council chambers. The proposal appeared in every language spoken by Council species, floating in front of each representative. Humanity requests full membership in the Galactic Council, Hana read. We offer cultural exchange, technological cooperation, and mutual defense agreements. In return, we maintain our sovereignty, our territory, and our right to independent development. We also request that the Council abandon its policy of forced subjugation of junior species. The Council chambers erupted. Representatives shouted at each other. Some laughed. Some looked outraged. The Emperor raised all 4 of his arms, demanding silence. This is the most absurd proposal I have ever received, the Emperor declared. You are a single species, barely capable of interstellar travel, demanding to dictate policy to an empire that has stood for 10,000 years. Your arrogance is beyond comprehension. Our determination is beyond your comprehension, Jiho corrected. You see us as weak because we're young. That's your mistake. It's your mistake to come here, the Emperor snarled. You've delivered yourself into our hands. One word from me and 50 ships open fire. Your vessel will be vapor in seconds. Then we will reduce Earth to ash and use your species as an example to anyone else who thinks they can defy the Council. You're welcome to try, Jiho said calmly. Tactical Run Demonstration Protocol 1. The Blackstar's shield suddenly flared to full power. On Imperial sensors, the human ship's energy output spiked to levels they hadn't thought possible. The quantum reactor poured power into the shield generators, creating a defensive barrier that glowed visibly in space. All Imperial vessels, open fire, the Emperor commanded. Destroy that ship. 50 capital ships fired simultaneously. Plasma cannons, particle beams, missile barrages, all converging on the Blackstar. The space around the human ship turned into a storm of destructive energy. Imperial weapons officers smiled, confident their overwhelming firepower would vaporize the arrogant humans. The Blackstar sat in the center of the firestorm, shields holding perfectly, not a flicker, not a fluctuation. The ship absorbed punishment that should have destroyed a dozen vessels and showed no damage at all. After 30 seconds of continuous fire, Jiho gave another command. Cease defensive posture. Begin Demonstration Protocol 2. The Blackstar's weapon systems activated. Railguns extended from hidden ports. Plasma lances energized. Targeting systems locked onto the nearest Imperial vessels. Pick 3 ships, Jiho ordered. I want disabled, not destroyed. Show them we could kill them if we chose to. Aye, Captain. Targeting cruisers designated Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Firing. The railgun spoke. Solid projectiles accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed. Crossed the distance almost instantly. The Imperial shields designed to stop energy weapons might as well have been paper. The projectiles punched through shields and hulls, causing massive damage without destroying the ships entirely. All 3 Imperial cruisers went dark. Life support failing, engines offline, weapons dead. Demonstrate the plasma lances, Jiho said. The Blackstar's plasma weapons fired in carefully controlled bursts. They hit 6 more Imperial ships, overloading their shield generators without breaching hulls. The ships survived but were combat ineffective, drifting helplessly. The Imperial fleet stopped firing. Confusion spread through their ranks. The human ship had taken their best punches and hadn't even been scratched. Now it had crippled 9 vessels in seconds. In the council chambers, silence fell. Representatives stared at the tactical displays, unable to believe what they were seeing. This is impossible, Speaker Vorn whispered. No ship should be able to withstand that kind of firepower. Your ships can't, Do-hyun said over the channel. Ours can. That's the difference between an empire that conquered weaker species and a species that fought itself for centuries. We learned warfare the hard way. Dr. Mina Choi stepped forward. Let me explain something about human technology, Council. We don't use your hyperspace lanes because we discovered a different method. We don't use your reactor designs because we found something better. We don't copy your weapons because we already invented more effective ones. You assumed we were primitives who got lucky. You were wrong. Demonstrate the quantum field, Jiho ordered. Mina activated one of the Blackstar's most secret systems. A pulse of energy rippled out from the ship, invisible but detectable on every sensor. It washed over the Imperial fleet in seconds. Every Imperial ship went dark. Power systems failed. Weapons offline, engines dead. Life support switched to emergency batteries. Across 50 capital ships, crews panicked as their vessels died around them. The effect lasted only 10 seconds. Then power returned, systems rebooted, and the ships came back online. But the message was clear. The Blackstar could have destroyed the entire fleet if it wanted to. That was a quantum disruption field, Mina explained calmly. It temporarily interferes with your power systems. We could have left you dark permanently. We could have destroyed every ship here. We chose not to because we're here to negotiate, not to kill. Colonel Taeyang spoke up from the marine deck. Captain, I have a tactical analysis ready. Should I transmit? Send it to every council member, Jiho confirmed. The holographic displays in the council chambers updated. A detailed tactical analysis appeared, showing exactly how many ways the Blackstar could have destroyed the fleet, the orbital stations, even the planetary shields protecting the Council's homeworld. The analysis was precise, professional, and terrifying. It showed 53 different attack vectors, 47 successful strategies, multiple scenarios where the Blackstar destroyed everything in the system before the Council could respond. Emperor Valthorix stared at the analysis, his expression unreadable. Around him, Council representatives whispered frantically to each other. Some looked frightened. Others looked angry. None looked confident anymore. "You have proven your point," the Emperor finally said. "Your ship is formidable, but it is still one ship. We have thousands. You cannot fight the entire Empire." "We don't need to fight the entire Empire," Ambassador Hanna replied. "We just need to make the cost unacceptable. How many ships are you willing to lose? How many systems are you willing to see devastated? How much will you sacrifice to subjugate one species? Besides," Jiho added, "who says we only have one ship? Maybe we have 10. Maybe we have 100. You didn't detect this one until it appeared inside your fleet. How many others are out there right now, watching your worlds, waiting?" It was a bluff, but a good one. The Council had no way to verify human shipbuilding capabilities. For all they knew, Earth had an entire fleet of vessels like the Blackstar. The Emperor was silent for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. "Your proposal is rejected. You have demonstrated capability, but capability without numbers means nothing. This Council was built on strength, and strength alone determines policy. If you will not submit, then you are enemies of the Empire." "Then we are enemies," Jiho said flatly. "And you just learned what happens when you underestimate humanity. Helm, prepare for quantum jump. Tactical, keep weapons hot. We're leaving." "If you leave, we will come for Earth," the Emperor threatened. "We will bring such force that your homeworld will burn." "You can try," Doyun said. "But every ship you send to Earth is a ship not protecting your own territory. And I wonder, Emperor, how many of the species you conquered will see this as an opportunity? How many rebellions will start when they realize the Empire is not invincible?" The Blackstar's quantum drive activated. The ship began to fade from normal space, preparing to jump. "Consider our proposal," Hanna said. "Or prepare for war. The choice is yours. You have 30 days to decide." The Blackstar vanished, leaving behind a shocked Council and a fleet of damaged ships. The message was clear. Humanity would not surrender. The war had begun. The Blackstar hung in deep space, far from any star system, while the crew analyzed intelligence data. Captain Jiho stood in the war room with his senior officers, studying holographic projections of Imperial territory. "The Emperor will respond," Admiral Dohyun said. "The question is how fast and with how much force. We humiliated him in front of the entire Council. He can't let that stand." "Good," Jiho replied. "Angry enemies make mistakes. But we need to buy Earth time. The shipyards are working day and night to build more vessels using Blackstar technology, but they need at least 6 months." Intelligence Officer Wu Jin Han highlighted a star system on the display. "Then we need to slow the Empire down. This is the Xerion system. It's a major Imperial logistics hub. Supply depots, repair facilities, fuel refineries. 30% of the Empire's military supplies for this entire sector flow through here." "Defenses?" Colonel Taeyang asked. "Heavy. 30 warships permanently stationed, including the dreadnought Eternal Dominion. Admiral Krethix commands the battle group. He's the Empire's best naval commander, never lost a major engagement." "Then it's time he lost one," Jiho said. "If we destroy the Xerion hub, it will take months for the Empire to redirect their supply chains. That buys Earth the time we need." Chief Engineer Sumi Lee pulled up damage reports from the Council space demonstration. "The Blackstar took no damage, but we pushed some systems hard. I recommend 48 hours for maintenance before any major combat operations." "We don't have 48 hours, Doyun said. "The Emperor is probably dispatching forces to Earth right now. We need to hit Xerion immediately, make it too costly for him to continue." Dr. Mina Choi ran calculations on her tablet. "The quantum drive is ready. Power systems are stable. Weapons are fully charged. We can fight if we need to." Jiho made his decision. "We go in 12 hours. That gives Sumi's team time for emergency repairs and gives us time to plan the engagement. Wu Jin, I want detailed tactical analysis. Every ship, every weapon, every defensive position. Taeyang, prepare your Marines. If we get a chance to board the Eternal Dominion, I want to take it." The crew scattered to their tasks. Jiho remained in the war room, staring at the hologram of Xerion system. 30 ships against one. In any conventional battle, those odds meant certain death. But the Blackstar wasn't a conventional ship. 12 hours later, the Blackstar jumped into Zarian system at the edge of the defensive perimeter. Alarms immediately sounded across the Imperial fleet. Admiral Krethix appeared on the command channel, his species tentacles writhing with agitation. Human vessel. This is Admiral Krethix of the Imperial Navy. You are in violation of Imperial space. Withdraw immediately or face destruction. Admiral Krethix, Jiho responded. I'm Captain Jiho Kim. I've read about your campaigns. Very impressive. 43 victories, 0 defeats. Today will be your first loss. Arrogant words from a dead man. I watched the recordings from Council space. Yes, your ship is advanced. But I have 30 vessels. You demonstrated your weapons on unprepared targets. Let's see how you perform against a fleet ready for battle. The Imperial ships moved into a complex formation, spreading out to prevent the Blackstar from engaging them all at once. It was a smart tactic, the kind that came from centuries of military experience. He's good, the tactical officer admitted. He's not clustering his ships. He's forcing us to engage in multiple locations if we want to deal significant damage. Then we engage on multiple fronts, Jiho said. Helm, prepare for rapid quantum jumps. We're going to hit them everywhere at once. The Blackstar vanished and reappeared behind 3 Imperial cruisers. Railguns fired before the enemy could react. 2 cruisers exploded immediately. The third lost power and drifted helplessly. Before Admiral Krethix could respond, the Blackstar jumped again. This time it appeared near the supply depot. Plasma lances cut through the station's defenses, causing massive explosions. Fuel storage tanks ruptured, sending waves of fire through the facility. The Blackstar jumped away before the missiles launched from nearby destroyers could reach it. Target the Eternal Dominion, Jiho commanded. Let's see how good their flagship really is. The Blackstar materialized directly in front of the massive dreadnought. For a moment, the 2 ships faced each other at point-blank range. Then both opened fire simultaneously. The Eternal Dominion had shields designed by the best Imperial engineers. They held against the Blackstar's initial barrage, absorbing energy that should have crippled the ship. Admiral Krethix had prepared well, but the dreadnought's return fire was equally ineffective. The Blackstar's shields were simply too strong, too advanced. Both ships pounded each other, neither gaining a clear advantage. He reinforced his shields, Sumi reported from engineering. This ship is built to withstand our weapons. Clever. Too clever, Jiho muttered. He studied our tactics. He knew we'd come. Tactical, pull back and reassess. The Blackstar jumped away from the dreadnought, appearing near the edge of the system. On the view screen, the Imperial fleet regrouped around the Eternal Dominion, forming a defensive sphere. Sir, we destroyed 6 ships and heavily damaged the supply depot, the tactical officer reported. But the main fleet is intact. Admiral Krethix has adapted his strategy to counter our mobility advantage. Then we adapt faster, Jiho said. He pulled up a schematic of the dreadnought on his command display. Wujin analysis. Where's the weakest point? The intelligence officer studied the ship. The dreadnought has redundant shields and armor. But like all large vessels, it has blind spots near the engine section. If we could get close enough, we could teleport a boarding party directly inside. Colonel Taeyang stepped forward. My Marines are ready. Get us inside that ship and we'll take it apart from within. It's risky, Admiral Dohyun said. If the quantum tunneling fails during the boarding action, your team will be scattered across space. Then it better not fail, Taeyang replied. We don't have time for safe plans. We need to end this battle decisively. Jiho considered the options. A conventional fight could last hours, giving the Empire time to send reinforcements. But a boarding action could end it quickly, especially if they captured the flagship. Do it, Jiho decided. Taeyang, take your team. Target the engine room and work your way to the bridge. Cause as much chaos as possible. Mina, can the quantum drive handle precision teleportation during combat? In theory, yes, Mina said. But I've never tested it under these conditions. The power requirements are enormous. Then it's time to test it. Sumi, divert all available power to the quantum drive. Helm, take us back to the Eternal Dominion. Maximum speed. The Blackstar accelerated toward the Imperial formation. Admiral Krethix saw them coming and ordered his ships to concentrate fire. Space filled with weapons fire as the entire fleet targeted the human vessel. Shields at 60%, Sumi reported. 50%, 40. Hold course, Jiho commanded. The Blackstar plowed through the defensive fire, shields ablating under the sustained barrage. Warning alarms sounded across the ship. Crew members grabbed their stations as the vessel shook from multiple impacts. Shields at 20%. Close enough. Mina, initiate quantum tunneling. Taeyang, you're up. In the marine deck, Colonel Taeyang and 50 Void Marines stood ready in their powered armor. The quantum tunneling system activated around them, space itself warping and folding. For a brief, disorienting moment, they existed in two places at once. Then they materialized inside the Eternal Dominion's engine room. Taeyang's tactical display showed Imperial crew members staring in shock at the sudden appearance of human soldiers. That shock lasted about 2 seconds before the Marines opened fire. The engine room dissolved into chaos. Imperial soldiers returned fire, but their weapons were designed for ship-to-ship combat, not close-quarters battle against armored opponents. The Void Marines' powered armor shrugged off most hits while their weapons tore through alien bodies. "Secure the engine room," Taeyang commanded. "Hyejin, take your squad to the reactor core. If we can't capture this ship, we'll make sure it never fights again." Lieutenant Hyejin Bayek led her team deeper into the ship. The corridors were wide and tall, built for species larger than humans. That gave the Marines room to maneuver. To use their armor's enhanced mobility, they encountered heavy resistance near the reactor core. Imperial elite guards held fortified positions, their weapons actually capable of damaging the Marine armor. Hyejin watched 2 of her soldiers fall, their armor breached, their bodies lifeless. "Push through!" she shouted. "For Earth!" The Marines surged forward. Hand-to-hand combat erupted as they closed with the Imperial guards. Powered fists crushed alien bodies. Combat blades cut through armor. It was brutal, savage fighting with no quarter asked or given. Hyejin reached the reactor control room and immediately began setting charges. The reactor was enormous, pulsing with barely contained energy. If they overloaded it, the explosion would destroy the dreadnought and probably several nearby ships. On the Blackstar's bridge, Jiho watched the tactical display. Taeyang's Marines were spreading through the Eternal Dominion like a virus, causing system failures and panic wherever they went. "Captain Admiral Krethix is attempting to jump away," the tactical officer reported. "If the dreadnought enters hyperspace with our people aboard, we'll lose them." "Target their hyperspace drive," Jiho ordered. Railgun precision shot. "Disable it without destroying the ship." The Blackstar's railgun fired a single round. It punched through the dreadnought's hull and destroyed the hyperspace drive chamber in a precise strike. The Eternal Dominion shuddered but remained intact. Inside the ship, Taeyang fought his way toward the bridge. Imperial crew members fled before him. Some fought and died. Others surrendered, weapons dropped, hands raised. The colonel ignored them, focused on his objective. The bridge doors were reinforced, designed to withstand boarding actions. Taeyang attached breaching charges and stepped back. The explosion blew the doors inward. Marines stormed through the smoke. Admiral Krethix stood at his command station, surrounded by his bridge crew. The alien admiral held a weapon but didn't fire. He simply stared at the human soldiers. "I surrender," Krethix said quietly. "I cannot defeat you. My ship is crippled. My crew is scattered. I have never said these words before, but I say them now. You have won." Taeyang kept his weapon trained on the admiral. "Order your entire fleet to stand down. All ships, all weapons, everything." Krethix hesitated. Then he sent the order. Across the Xerion system, Imperial ships powered down their weapons. The battle was over. On the Blackstar's bridge, Jiho allowed himself a moment of relief. They had done it. 1 ship against 30 and they had won. "Captain, I'm receiving multiple transmissions," the communications officer said. "They're coming from all across the galaxy. Species we've never contacted before. They're asking how they can join the resistance against the Empire." Jiho looked at Admiral Dohyun. The older man was smiling. "The galaxy is watching," Dohyun said. "We just proved the Empire can be beaten. Every subjugated species out there is taking notice." "Then we better be ready," Jiho replied. "Because the Emperor won't let this stand. He's going to come for us with everything he has." The war had truly begun. The news of humanity's victory at Xerion spread across the galaxy, faster than any ship could travel. Encrypted transmissions bounced between subjugated worlds. Underground resistance movements that had been dormant for decades suddenly found new hope. The impossible had happened. The Empire had been defeated. On the Valthoran homeworld, Emperor Valthoric stood in his war room watching holographic recordings of the battle for the 100th time. His military advisors stood in uncomfortable silence, waiting for him to speak. "One ship," the Emperor finally said. "One human ship destroyed 30 of our vessels and captured the Eternal Dominion. How is this possible?" "The humans use technology we don't understand, Imperial Majesty," an advisor ventured. "Their shields, their weapons, their ability to appear anywhere without using hyperspace lanes. We have no counter for these capabilities." "Then develop one," the Emperor roared. "We are the dominant power in this galaxy. We have conquered 47 species. We will not be defeated by primitives who only learned to leave their homeworld 2 centuries ago." Another advisor stepped forward. "Majesty, we have a more immediate problem. 12 subject species have begun open rebellions. They believe humanity's victory means the Empire is weak. If we don't respond immediately, we'll lose control of entire sectors." The Emperor's multiple arms clenched into fists. "Dispatch suppression forces to the rebel worlds. Show them what happens when they defy the Empire. And mobilize the entire fleet, every ship, every soldier, every resource we have. We're going to destroy Earth and make an example of humanity that will be remembered for 10,000 years." On the Blackstar, Captain Jiho received reports from across the galaxy. Ambassador Hana coordinated with the resistance movements, trying to turn scattered rebellions into organized opposition. Dr. Mina analyzed captured Imperial technology, looking for weaknesses to exploit. Chief Engineer Sumi worked day and night to keep the ship at peak efficiency after the brutal combat at Zerion. "Captain, we're receiving a secure transmission from Earth," the communications officer reported. "Admiral Park's command code, Priority 1. Admiral Do-hyun appeared on the screen. Behind him, the orbital shipyards worked at full capacity, visible through the command center windows. "Jiho, situation update," Do-hyun said. "We've completed 3 new vessels using Blackstar technology. They're not as advanced as your ship, but they're close. Another 7 will be ready in 4 months. But we have a problem. Imperial scouts have been detected at the edge of our system. They're mapping our defenses. How long until they attack?" Jiho asked. "Intelligence estimates 2 weeks. The Emperor is gathering every ship he can spare. We're looking at over 200 capital ships, maybe more. Even with our new vessels, we can't hold against those numbers." Jiho studied the tactical display. 200 ships. The Blackstar had barely survived against 30. No amount of technological superiority could overcome odds like that. "Then we don't fight them at Earth," Jiho said. "We take the battle to the Empire, force them to defend their own territory." "You're talking about attacking the Valtheran homeworld," Do-hyun said. "That's suicide. Their planetary defenses alone could destroy 100 ships. Maybe. But if we threaten their capital, they'll have to pull ships back from the attack on Earth. We buy time and show the galaxy that the Empire's heart is vulnerable. Intelligence." Officer Woojin pulled up information on Valthorix Prime. "The planet is defended by orbital battle stations, planetary shield generators, and a permanent garrison of 50 capital ships. But there's a weakness. The entire Imperial military network is controlled from a command station in high orbit. It coordinates fleet movements, logistics, everything. If we could destroy or capture that station, we'd blind their entire military." Colonel Taeyang studied the schematics. "We'd need to board it. A direct assault would trigger too many automatic defenses, but if we could get Marines inside, we could take control before they realized what was happening." "It's still a desperate plan," Admiral Do-hyun said. "One ship against the Empire's most heavily defended world." "We're out of safe options," Jiho replied. "The Emperor wants war. We'll give him war, but on our terms. Do-hyun, send your new ships to defensive positions around Earth. If the Imperial fleet shows up before we complete our mission, hold them as long as you can." "And what about the rebellions?" Ambassador Hana asked. 12 species are fighting the Empire right now. They're counting on us for support. Tell them to hold on. If we succeed, the Empire will fracture. If we fail, tell them to run and hide. Either way, we're going to make the Emperor regret threatening humanity." The Blackstar prepared for the most dangerous mission in human history. Sumi pushed the ship systems beyond safe limits, knowing they would need every advantage. Mina calculated jump coordinates that would bring them into Valthoran space without being detected. Taeyang drilled his Marines relentlessly, preparing them for a boarding action against the Empire's elite defenders. But before they could leave, a transmission came from an unexpected source. The view screen activated, showing a face that shocked everyone on the bridge. Admiral Krethix appeared, now a prisoner aboard a human transport ship. The alien who had commanded the Eternal Dominion looked tired but determined. "Captain Kim," Krethik said, "I have information that may help you. I spent 40 years serving the Empire. I know how they think. I know their tactics. If you're planning what I think you're planning, you'll need my help." "Why would you help us?" Jiho asked. "We destroyed your fleet. We ended your career." "Because you showed me mercy," Krethix replied. "You could have killed every survivor at Xerion. Instead, you took prisoners. You treated wounded enemies. The Empire doesn't do that. The Empire conquers and subjugates and destroys. For 40 years, I told myself we were bringing order to the galaxy. You made me see the truth. We're just another empire built on the suffering of weaker species." Jiho considered the offer. "What can you tell us about the command station?" "Everything. Layout, defenses, access codes, guard rotations. I've been there 100 times. I can give you a path to the control center that avoids the heaviest defenses. But I have a condition. When this is over, when the Empire falls, help my people. We were conquered 3,000 years ago. We've forgotten what freedom looks like. Teach us again. If we survive this, you have my word." Krathix transmitted detailed information about Valthorix Prime's defenses. The data was invaluable, showing weak points and vulnerabilities that would have taken months to discover. With this intelligence, the mission went from nearly impossible to merely suicidal. "We leave in 6 hours," Jiho announced. "Everyone get some rest. This might be the last chance we get." The crew dispersed. Jiho remained on the bridge, staring at the image of Valthorix Prime. Somewhere down there, the Emperor planned Earth's destruction. In 6 hours, Jiho would bring the war to his doorstep. The quantum drive activated exactly on schedule. The Blackstar vanished from its position and reappeared at the edge of Valthoran space. Immediately, sensors detected the massive Imperial presence. More ships than they had expected. Over 300 capital vessels orbiting the homeworld in defensive formations. "They know we're coming," the tactical officer said. "They've tripled their garrison." "Doesn't matter," Jiho replied. "We're not here to fight all of them. We're here for the command station. Helm, take us in. Maximum speed. Don't stop for anything." The Blackstar accelerated toward the planet. Imperial ships moved to intercept, but the human vessel was too fast, too maneuverable. It weaved through the defensive perimeter, shields absorbing hits from dozens of weapons. Shields at 70%, 60, 50.
"Keep going."
The command station appeared ahead, a massive structure bristling with weapons. Defensive satellites opened fire. The Blackstar's shields dropped to critical levels as it closed the distance. "Taeyang, get ready," Jiho commanded. "Mina, prepare quantum tunneling. One shot at this. If it fails, we're dead." In the marine deck, Colonel Taeyang and his Void Marine stood ready. Lieutenant Heejin checked her weapon one last time. They had lost people at Xerion. More would die today, but if they succeeded, they would save Earth and maybe free dozens of species from Imperial rule. The quantum tunneling system activated. Space folded impossibly. The Marines felt themselves stretched across infinite distance and compressed into a single point simultaneously. Then they were inside the command station, materializing in a secondary corridor away from the main defenses. "Move," Taeyang ordered. The Marines advanced through the station using the route Krethix had provided. They encountered resistance, but nothing they couldn't handle. Imperial soldiers fell back, unprepared for human aggression and advanced armor. But as they approached the control center, they ran into the Emperor's elite guard. These weren't regular soldiers. They were the best warriors the Empire had, genetically enhanced and equipped with weapons that could actually damage Marine armor. The corridor became a killing ground. Heejin watched her soldiers fall, cut down by weapons that burned through their defenses. She returned fire, dropping enemy soldiers, but more kept coming. "We can't get through," one Marine shouted. "There are too many." Heejin made a decision. "Taeyang, take the rest of the team around through the maintenance tunnels. I'll hold here and keep their attention." "That's suicide," Taeyang replied over the communication channel. "Then I'll die buying you time to complete the mission." "Go," Taeyang wanted to argue, to find another way, but he knew she was right. They were out of time and options. He led the remaining Marines into the maintenance access, leaving Heejin and her squad to face the elite guard alone. Heejin and her soldiers fought with desperate courage. They held the corridor for 8 minutes, far longer than should have been possible. One by one, her squad members fell. Finally, Heejin stood alone, her armor damaged, her weapon nearly depleted. An elite guard approached, weapon raised. Hyejin smiled grimly. She had bought enough time. Meanwhile, Taeyang reached the control center. The doors were sealed, but shaped charges made quick work of them. The Marines stormed inside, engaging the command staff in brutal close combat. Taeyang reached the main console and activated the station's control systems. Outside, the Blackstar was taking massive damage, shields failing. Hull breached in 3 sections. They needed this to work now. "Captain, I have control of the command station," Taeyang transmitted. "Shutting down the Imperial military network now." Across the Valthoran system, every Imperial ship went dark. Weapons offline. Communications dead. Engines disabled. Over 300 capital ships drifted helplessly, their crews frantically trying to reboot systems that wouldn't respond. On the Blackstar's bridge, Jiho saw the opening. "All weapons target the planetary shield generators. Fire everything we have left." The Blackstar, battered and bleeding atmosphere, fired its remaining weapons at the planet below. Railgun rounds and plasma lances struck the shield generators with pinpoint accuracy. The planetary shields flickered and collapsed. Emperor Valthorix, watching from his palace, felt terror for the first time in his long life. The shields were down. The fleet was disabled. A single human ship had done in minutes what entire rebel armadas couldn't achieve in years. Captain Jiho opened a channel to the planet. "Emperor Valthorix, this is Captain Jiho Kim. Your military network is under our control. Your defenses are down. Your fleet is disabled. We could destroy your capital city right now. We could kill millions. We could do to you what you threatened to do to Earth." The Emperor appeared on screen, his expression carefully neutral. "But you won't. You humans have demonstrated mercy before." "You're right. We won't, but understand this. If you send your fleet to Earth, we will return here. We will show the galaxy that your throne room can be reached, that your homeworld can be threatened. Every species you've conquered will see that the Empire bleeds." Admiral Dohyun appeared on a separate channel. "Captain, Earth Defense reports the Imperial attack fleet is pulling back. They're receiving orders to return to Valthorix Prime to defend the homeworld." "It worked. You bought us time." Ambassador Hana joined the transmission. "Emperor, humanity offers you a choice. Continue this war and watch your empire crumble as rebellion spread and subject species rise up. Or negotiate a real peace, not subjugation, not conquest, peace between equals." The Emperor was silent for a long moment. Finally he spoke. "I will agree to a summit. Representatives from all council species, free and subjugated. We will discuss new terms. But if this is a trick, if you betray this offer, I will personally lead the fleet that destroys Earth." "No tricks," Jiho said. "Just a chance to build something better than what came before." 3 months later, the summit concluded. The Empire's forced subjugation policies were abolished. Subject species gained the right to self-governance. The Galactic Council was reformed into a true federation where all voices held equal weight. Captain Jiho stood on the Blackstar's bridge, now joined by 6 sister ships built by Earth's expanding shipyards. Colonel Taeyang trained a new generation of defenders, including volunteers from a dozen formerly subjugated species. Dr. Mina's research was shared freely, lifting civilizations to new technological heights. Ambassador Hana worked in the new council chambers, helping species learn to govern themselves after centuries of imperial rule. Admiral Dohyun commanded humanity's growing fleet, ensuring Earth would never be threatened again. The transformation wasn't easy. Some imperial officials resisted. Some subjugated species struggled with sudden freedom. Violence flared in several systems. But slowly, painfully, the galaxy changed. 6 months after the summit, a transmission reached the Blackstar. A distress call from the edge of known space. A species being attacked by something worse than the Empire. Something from beyond the mapped stars. Captain Jiho read the message and looked at his crew. They were tired. They had fought impossible battles and survived by luck as much as skill. They deserved rest, but that wasn't humanity's way. "Helm, plot a course to these coordinates," Jiho ordered. "Maximum speed. Someone needs help." Chief Engineer Sumi appeared on the internal channel. "We're ready when you are, Captain. The ship's systems are at peak efficiency. Whatever's out there, we'll handle it." The Blackstar's quantum drive activated. The ship vanished, heading toward the unknown. Behind it, Earth continued to build and grow stronger. The galaxy watched and wondered what humanity would do next. Somewhere in the darkness, something new waited. Another challenge. Another impossible situation. But the crew of the Blackstar had learned an important lesson. Humanity didn't need to be the strongest or the most advanced. They just needed to never quit, to never surrender, to face impossible odds and find a way forward. The stars called, and humanity answered.